Welcome to the back of the beautiful Birnam wood kitchen here. We're gonna do a little rundown and show you guys how we make our in-house pizzas in our wood-fired pizza oven. We're gonna start with a little breakdown on just showing you guys the basic dough recipe. The recipe that we use here is a 60% moisture content, meaning it's set up for a very hot oven. If you're gonna be cooking at home, normally 70% moisture is good for a 500-degree oven at your home. So just keep that in mind, and we're gonna run through this real quick. We're gonna start off with 455 grams of double lot flour. We do everything in grams because it's very precise, and that way we can be consistent. Double lot flour is flour that's been ground very, very fine. This flour is much finer than normal flour. It's also an Italian heirloom flour, so it's easier to digest and makes a little bit better crust in my opinion. So we have our 455 grams. We're going to mix that with 250 grams, so that's 60% of the total weight of the flour. That's 250 grams of warm water, 6 grams of dried yeast. This is 20 grams of sugar, and 40 grams of extra virgin olive oil. That's our liquid for the entire dough. When you're doing this at home, you'd want to give this about 10 minutes just for that yeast to wake up and come alive. That's why we put it into the warm water. Put a little bit of sugar in there that makes sure your yeast is alive. We're going to mix that in. As you mix this, you'll see it'll start to tighten up a little bit. We're going to get a nice dough ball here after we've worked it over a little bit. And at this point, we can add our 10 grams of salt. You don't want to put the salt in with the yeast and the water because salt actually kills yeast. So you'll end up with a dough that will not rise. The best way to do this at home would be to use a KitchenAid mixer with the dough hook on it, and you'd let it run for about 10 minutes before you had a really nice tight dough ball. Okay, so now this is 24 hours later. The best way to really develop great flavor in your dough is to let it slowly proof. So after you've mixed your dough, you've got it into a nice ball, you put it in the refrigerator and let it do its thing overnight. And then here at the club, we use a 5-ounce piece of dough. We'll make a 9-inch pizza, and then we use a 9-ounce piece of dough to make a 14-inch pizza. So we're gonna show you with a 5-ounce dough here. This is just a little bit of semolina. You're basically working from the inside out, so you get a nice thin, crispy center with a little bit of a crust. And I usually leave them right about there, and then stretch it the rest of the way on the pizza peel. A little bit of the semolina. Again, semolina is nice and coarse, so your dough will slide off of there into your fire. And again, like I said, we're gonna give it the last little bit of stretch right here. And then I'm gonna show you how I like my pizza, because I haven't had lunch yet. Couple of tablespoons of sauce. One of the bigger mistakes that I see with people at home is they try to overload their pizzas and then they wonder why they're soggy. So more is not always better. Nice low moisture mozzarella cheese. A little bit of fresh sliced pepperonis here. I like a little bit of heat, so I'm gonna put some jalapenos on here. Little onions for flavor. And then we'll finish with just a little bit of salt, fresh cracked pepper, and Parmesan cheese. We're gonna be ready to go in the oven. So just checking the temp inside there, 825 on the deck. That's about what we're looking for. This is gonna give us a real nice crisp crust, what they call the leopard spotting, which is the nice little bit of char on the outside of the dough. And it's gonna finish our pizza up in about 90 seconds. So this looks good. So here we go, all finished up. Like I said, we've got a little bit of leopard spotting here around the edges. Got a nice bit of color on the crust on the bottom. As you can see, it's not floppy, not falling in on itself. And I'm gonna cut it for you, you'll be able to hear the crunch. And that's the pizza here at Birnam Wood. I'm going to go enjoy it.